29. The whistleblower himself, Garry Cobb.
No. How you doing? No, really, I'm out here. I'm over at Pepperdine now. See, our daughter works here. See, she's over the law school here at Pepperdine, and so that's really why I came out to see the grandkids and everything. And of course, I got an invite from the Cowboys to come over and check out practice. So I went over and I'm observing how they're doing now. You know, they got some needs. Let's put it that way.
Whoa.
Yes.
I'm going to stop everyone.
Yes.
Folks, if there is one place in heaven that reminds me of Pepperdine, that overlooks Santa Monica and overlooks the ocean, and
yes.
when you go up to the university, they've got this big land, and you overlook the coast. I want to die there. Bury me and spread my ashes. They're all over Pepperdine, because when you look at the Pepperdine from the road and then you see the ocean on the left, Garry, that is one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever seen in my entire life. It's breathtaking, isn't it?
It is startling, you know, especially when you see everything on the mountains you can see. And then also you look out and there's the water. It is beautiful here, you know, not bad at all.
Congratulations.
It would be a nice place to settle.
I'll tell you this. Congratulations to little G Cobb for getting into that place, because that's not that easy as well. All right, Garry.
Yeah.
Psst, Blue Horseshoe wants to know, how do the Cowboys look out at camp?
Well, you know, they're going to have to rely on Dak. You know, you could see that he's got to play great. They've got to throw the ball. You don't see that the line, you know, not impressive. I was looking at their line. And, of course, you know, they're going against their defense and everything. But I expect them to be a team. They're going to be throwing the ball. Dak is going to have to play great football. And I think that they want to come out and outscore people. Defensively, you know, what was the trip is looking at Michael Parsons standing over there in a jersey. He's standing over on the side. You know, somebody need to teach him about holding out or whatever. You know, you don't come in.
Yeah.
You need to be somewhere else. You need to. Your agent tells them, look, whatever, some kind of excuse or whatever. You're not over there, because being over there, see, then there's not. You know, they say, well, Michael Parsons is here. You want them saying Michael Parsons is not here. See, and you know, I mean, it doesn't make sense what they're doing with him and Jerry and everything, but that's another story. But I could go on and on about that, because how do you have your best defensive player? You don't take care of him. You look at the way the Eagles run their organization compared to the Cowboys, and that's why the Eagles have rings from last year, and the Cowboys, they haven't gotten close in so many years. I don't know what they're doing over there, but
they got vacation hats.
Yeah, you know, that's
from a year ago. But I will say this. I'll tell you what Michael Irvin told me. Michael Irvin told me, if you want to get signed in Dallas, stop talking. Just stop talking, because Jerry likes the theater of it. And the more you keep the story resonating and on fire, the more he's going to like it. He says how we got paid was nobody said anything. It started going silent. Jerry said, I need to spark it. Let's sit there. Do you agree? He's going to be running out of the tunnel. September 4th in Lincoln Financial, he's going to be running out of that tunnel playing for the Cowboys.
Yes, he will be. You know, there's no way they could let him go, and they will sign him. But you're right in that Jerry does like staying in the news. He loves it. You know, if they're talking about the Cowboys, he figures that's a good thing. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whatever, it doesn't matter. So he's playing into that. So, you know, you are right. And the best thing for him to do would be to get quiet and being around. I don't think is the best solution. But I'll tell you, the Eagles, I think, you know, they don't have. Well, you just look at their practice. You know, the Eagles really have a certain attitude at practice. They really go after each other. Even though, from what I heard, they didn't. They got taken to the Browns. Took it to them.
2 days, the Browns put it on them. I mean,
that's startling.
Taylor didn't look good. The passing offense didn't look good. Jordan Mailata got annihilated by Myles Garrett today.
Uh-huh. Well, Garrett has taken a lot of people to the cleaners. But and I don't know what to say about it. I mean, the guys have been pretty good about making sure they show up for the battles. But if they got their butts kicked, maybe it'd be a good thing in the long run that they start out the season with a sense of urgency. Because winning. It does kind of soften you. There's no doubt about it. These guys can say, oh, it's not a big deal. But they're still patting themselves on the back. Everywhere they go, people, oh, you guys are the greatest, Come on, your money's no good here. You guys, sit down, have something to eat and everything. They get greeted by everybody. And it really, the way Jalen Hurts was saying, really is, it's not easy to shut it down and to let that stuff go in one ear and out the other, because you're still kind of celebrating. And the thing is, if you get to the season and you're really still emotionally still celebrating, you're gonna get jumped. You're gonna have some teams punch you right in the mouth, and before you know it, you're walking out with an L.
How about this, Gary? Jalen Hurts struggled today, and he's been struggling the last couple practices. And really, if you want to make a comment about it, he's really struggled the entire camp. Now, you say struggling. The only reason that I bring this up is because they don't play preseason football. Yeah. They get all of their evaluation out of the joint practices and practice. So how are you going to evaluate what you're doing or where you're going when you don't play in the exhibition games? And so I'm not saying to play in the exhibition games because they've been right with their health, but that's all I can go on is what they're doing. So my question to you, is this more about Kevin Patullo, or is this more about Jalen Hurts struggling a little bit here in camp, or is it both?
Well, I think you probably would say it's both. But I think, in fairness with Patullo, though, they don't really put together a game plan for the preseason. You go out, you run certain plays, you're taking a look at things. So he's really almost like experimenting through the preseason. They're not running a game, to try to win the game so much as they want to see what certain plays look like. And really, I don't know if any of the starters are going to play anyway. They're probably not. They're not going to play. So the practices, that's why, I regret kind of missing, today, yesterday and today, to see what they look like, because they really put more in those practices, in those plays against the Browns. Now, the one thing the Browns do have, the Browns do have some monsters up front.
Oh, yeah. They're good in the secondary.
And they're good in the secondary. So, they are a team defensively, and everybody's known they got some marquee players. So, if they get up for you and the Eagles, their timing wasn't good or whatever, I could understand them having some problems, but it might be good in a way because, getting a kick in the butt is probably the best thing for them. If they go out and they score a bunch of points, they've had enough positive stuff. They could use the kick in the butt. So I don't have any problem with them if they play poorly. Let's say in the preseason, and one of the practices and everything, that gives the coach a chance to chew them out and probably wake them up a little bit.
How about this? AJ and Devontae have only practiced 3 games.
I know.
Are you concerned? Yeah. Maybe their play's a factor too, with the continuity that they're trying to build on the offensive passing game. They've only practiced together 3 times. So is that a problem?
I've been out there for a lot of the practices, and AJ's been on the side most of the time I've been out there. And then sometimes I think a few of those times Devontae was out as well. And they had the backups. So I wouldn't really get too worked up about it. It depends on where they are mentally. But this is new time football now, man. If a guy even looks like his ham is tight a little bit, shut it down. Most of the time I go out there, there's at least 10 guys not practicing. That's just the way it is nowadays, man. I see it on every team. So it's not like one team. it's just a thing now where if a guy is thinking about maybe he get injured, oh, shut it down. You know, that's just the way it is. I mean, the guys just do not practice a lot. And if there's any chance remotely of them straining anything, pulling a ham, you know, they shut them down, man. You know, so, you know, I see it with every team. That's the way it is.
Let me go here with you here now. Okay.
Yeah.
So Landon Dickerson gets hurt.
Yeah, I saw that.
And boy, I'll tell you what, we had Dr. Chow on with us, and I spoke to Dr. Chow again last night. He goes, I'd be very, very surprised if he played week 1. He just had the surgery yesterday. They waited for it. And the meniscus, as you know, Gary, it's not like ACL or MCL. You're kind of shaving it. You know, it's the stuff on top of the knee. And so, like, it's the stuff that goes like this. I tell people it's the stuff right here. And you could actually play without a meniscus, but it's very painful. So, but still, all that being said, they got good news. But what does that mean? Because now you got Cam Jurgens with a back injury that is kind of still coming through it. You got Landon Dickerson. And then you've got, I mean, Tyler Steiner supposedly is having a really good camp. Are you concerned again a little bit about the health going into the season here? Because, I mean, if the passing game is struggling, you can't have that run game struggle.
Well, you know, that's why, you know, you mentioned Kevin Patullo. You know, if that running game is not there, you know, then a lot of it's going to fall on his back. You know, it's on his shoulders to get that offense going. And with all of the young players that they have on the defensive side, they really can't afford for the offense to be struggling. You know, they can't afford it. I mean, look at all those young kids they got on defense, unless they're going to go out there and just, you know, hit the ground and just start dominating, which is a lot to ask when you got so many new guys. You know that there are teams that all offseason, they've been designing plays for their defense. So they're going to have a challenge in front of them. I just hope that that offensively, though, that they're there because they need them. Because, you know, defensively, you got young players. I mean, it's like you get in a huddle and you look at young players. I'm telling their eyes tell them, you know that you don't see that surety, and they need to get out. You know, they're a little scared.
Hey, Cobb. Hey, G Cobb, is it a 3 technique or 1 technique? 3 technique or 1 technique? Hot.
Hey, a lot of times, hey, you get up to the line of scrimmage and the kid is asking you, you're going like, kid, what are you doing out here? You know? I mean, but that's part of it. When you got young players, man, young players make mistakes. And so I hope their offense is ready to carry them for a ways. They don't need to, you know, just leave that defense out there where the defense has got to carry them. I don't think they're going to be ready for that, you know.
How about this, Gary? You tell me that. The opener, if Landon doesn't go, you'll have a new left guard, a new right guard, a new edge, a new defensive end, a new first-time starter at linebacker, a first-time starter at corner, and a first-time corner at safety. That's 7. I mean, you look at Howie here. I mean, tell me where you think they upgraded this offseason with. I mean, look, Becton and Landon versus Tyler Steen and some dude named Tooth. You got an edge rusher with Jalix Hunt instead of Josh Sweat. Yeah. You got a defensive end in Mauro Jomo who's having a good camp instead of Milton. You've got Trotter instead of Dean. You've got at corner whomever. There's 7 guys out there.
Yeah.
You had Slate and Isaiah.
Wow.
And at safety, you had CJ. Now, dude, Makuba, that Andrew Makuba guy got hurt in helmets and shorts.
I know. Well, you know, the thing that you hope, you know, some of their defensive line, the guys have looked promising. But, you know, that come on, you can't take that. That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So I'm concerned. I tell you, I'm concerned, especially because I think they needed to lean on the offense to Landon to miss some time. They need Dickerson in there, man. You know, because he's the core side of that. Really, that left side of the line is supposed to be the strongest side. Him and Mailata, you know, and you got all that size. I mean, both of them nearly 350 pounds. you want to pound people on that side. And now I don't know how long he's going to be out. Hopefully, I saw him walking and everything. You hope that it's not going to be long.
Well,
Hopefully,
I know it has to be good because he had 2 coolers of beers and Miller Lights. So if you're carrying 2 coolers of Miller Lights for everybody, I mean,
hey.
I have to think that you're pretty good here. But again, I mean, Garry, is it the short off season because you go so far, you win the Super Bowl? It just seems now that all the things that people were saying and you and I were saying about the replacements, I mean, I mean, can Vic do it again? In your opinion, this really comes down to can Vic do it again?
Well, I think it's they're going to need their best players to really step up. Like they are going to need, of course, Saquon's got to play well, and you're going to need Jalen to have a big year. A.J. Brown and Devontae and all those guys are going to need to have great seasons. That's ultimately what it's going to come down to. And I think, I believe in those guys. I think they're capable of taking over a game and doing whatever they need to do, until their defense, give those kids a chance to grow up over there. That's basically what the season's about. A lot like last year. Now, they're not going to run the ball as much. I don't see how they could put as much of the weight of the offense on Saquon as they did last year. But they got some backups there with that in that running back. With some of the running backs they have. I think they can't put the ball in Saquon's hands that much. I mean, expect them. But he does look fresh out there. Saquon looks fresh. So I say, hey, let's go back to the well.
All right, let me ask you this.
Let's go back to the well.
Well, that being said, then, are you concerned about Petula making too many changes?
No, I think initially, I mean, come on, he's here in Philadelphia. He knows how the place would go crazy if he's not giving that ball to Saquon. So initially, they're going to start out now. If they're not having as much success, see, then that opens the door for him to do more. Now, I think that they got to come out and jump on people. I want to see them come out and maybe at the beginning of a game, throw the ball a little more than they did. Yeah, get a lead. And then start pounding that ball down teams' throats, I'd like to see them do that.
I have to ask you this. Xander wouldn't play along with me, so I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
You work in broadcasting in Philly for the last 30 years, okay? So let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hypothetically, play along with me here. They get bounced in the opening playoff game, okay?
Ooh. Yeah.
How he's built so much equity up with the fan base and with everyone. Would you not agree everybody's expectations are Super Bowl or bust right now?
Without a doubt, I would agree, yes.
There's Howie, does Vic, does Petullo. Who will be the Brian Johnson of this year if this doesn't go well?
Well,
who will be that Brian Johnson, Sean Desai?
It probably would be Petullo. He would probably get the hit, take the sword. He had to fall on the sword, because he wasn't there. He wasn't there last year. See, he's the one guy who wasn't in position. You can't mess with Vic. Because he was defensive coordinator last year. So unfortunately, Petullo is the guy that's circled. He's the new guy. So they would have to let him fall on the machete.
That is Nick's boy, too. I mean, hey, so Nick would throw another guy under the bus like that?
Well, it wouldn't be where he threw him under the bus. I mean, if they struggle, it'll have to be, you blame it on the offense would get most of the blame. If they don't win, come on. You look at all the kids you got on defense. You're not going to really circle them. It's the guys. Come on. You got Jalen, okay? AJ Brown. I mean, come on. You got Devontae. Look at the money these guys. These guys are making big money. The offensive line, that offense has to dominate. Come on. They have to. Those guys, come on. Who's making the money on the team?
Hey,
the offense.
I've got to ask you this last question here then.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that offense should have a top 10 passing game?
I think so, yeah. I think they do. I think they're going to need that this year, yes. And I think that they're going to be ready for it. I mean, they got the people to do it. They are going to need, because I think people are going to do everything to make sure that they don't run the ball on them. They're going to make them throw the ball. Because if I'm a defensive coordinator, that's what I have to do. I'm surely not going to let them run the ball down my throat and control the ball. I'm going to try to take away that running game and make them beat me through the air. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's what KC did. Now, KC didn't win. It didn't work. So Jalen and the wide receivers have got to make sure it doesn't work.
Well, Garry, Fox just came out with the top 5 wide receivers in pro football.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't you and me. This is Fox Sports.
Yes.
They have Jamar Chase, number 1.
Okay.
They have Justin Jefferson, number 2.
All right.
They've got CeeDee Lamb, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Malik Neighbors, number 4. And they've got Amon St. Brown of the Lions, 5. No AJ.
Yeah.
No AJ in there. I mean, you know the book reader.
Hey,
he ain't liking that.
That's going to give him come in there with that chip on his shoulder. Good they did that. Okay, great. So he comes in with the chip on his shoulder, and they got to feed him. They got to feed him. They're going to be lined up to stop Saquon, and I think AJ's going to have a big year. Devontae's going to have a big year, and the Birds do it again.
Hey, I see the shirt color. Are you going to make it down to USC, or is this just
I got to go over there. You know I got to go over there, see how everybody's doing. That's right. I got to go over there, see what's going on. Some people need a kick in the butt over there.
Garry Cobb, thank you so much, man. And what an absolute – see, Garry Cobb is not really showing you the view here, folks, because I've been to that place and I've gone to Pepperdine.
Hey. No.
There's like a ball
park. It is beautiful out here. I tell you, it is.
Baseball park right across the street there.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting there at Pepperdine, you look right across, you see the ocean. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful view I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean,
that's
Garry,
right.
UCLA is nice.
Yes.
But that thing is just insane.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can get up here and see the water out there. It's a nice office spot you got here. This will work.
What's your kid's degree? What's she working on there?
No. She's she's not going here. She works here. She's one of the administrators of the law office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
This is her office. I'm sitting in her office, yeah.
Well, if I get a call from Bob Lang, you can tell your daughter. If I get a call from Bob Lang, I'm calling your daughter.
Okay.
I might need some legal help.
Hey, sounds good. Hey, they got plenty of lawyers. I'm getting ready to go out here and eat, but they got all of these folks, getting their degrees out here. So got a lot of young lawyers out here.
Fantastic. Garry, have a safe trip back. Congratulations. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Have a good one.
You got it, folks. Appreciate it very much. Garry Cobb, Fox 29, giving us the skinny, giving us a little bit of the Dallas Cowboys as well. Him being out there, going over to USC. Really good stuff. All right. Damn. Man. Struggling offense. Troubles in the preseason. What in the world is going on? Man, not with your Eagles. Holy cow. Where to begin? Where to begin here? Hurts struggling. A.J. Brown, Devontae, not on the field, but for only 3 practices. The cornerback position. The safety. Man. How come your offense has never been a top 5 offense? With all that money you pay, with all that skill, so-called skill, how come not one of those guys that you name all the time, Devontae and AJ, I mean, they were the top 5 offense a year ago. The running game was a top 5 offense, not the offense itself. How come it's not top 5? I mean, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase are like the number 1 offense. You would think with that kind of offensive skill that Hurts would have the number 1 offense. How come he don't have the number 1 offense? Skill? So-called skill? We're going to end up having 10 players in the top 100. And then your passing offense is fucking the 4th worst. How you doing? Hey, nice job. Way to underachieve.